I would guess you've seen The Last King of Scotland.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
that guy is one of the
Amin.
most fascinating African warlords that there ever was. Maybe the most fascinating.
Can I please read out his full title?
Please, please. It's so good.
I hope it rivals Daenerys.
Oh, let me see. Where's his title?
Starting forward for the Lakers, Daenerys Michaels.
Daenerys from Game of
I'll
Thrones.
never stop getting you with that one.
Oh, here it is.
What's her name? It's not Daenerys.
Right. Idi Amin, His Excellency, President for Life, Field Marshal Al-Haji Dr. Idi Amin Dada, VC, DSO, MC, CBE, Lord of all the beasts of the earth and fishes of the seas, and conqueror of the British Empire in Africa in general and Uganda in particular. That's his full title.
That was
and also he was the uncrowned King of Scotland, which
thank you, the last King of Scotland.
Which no, he's fucking not.
You don't recognize his authority?
I think I heard MC in there. Can this person rap?
No, what is an MC? Oh, military cross from the British Armed Forces, which he never got. He never got that. He just made that up. He has none of these awards. But like,
if you've never seen his movie, if you've never seen his movie, very good. Forrest Whitaker plays him.
I like Forrest Whitaker.
James McAvoy is like his foil. He's like the maybe British reporter who's like there, like do a journalist type thing with him. Becomes his like pal. Like you will come with me and I will torture people. It's like that sort of movie. It's really good. I wanted to know how he died recently, so I did some research, and I hope it was right. But he kind of died in exile in a Middle Eastern country, I think. But to the end, he was like, "Just let them know if they want me to come back, I'm down." And Scotland too. If they need me to come in and fill in as king, also down for that. Like he was just so delusional all the way to the end.
What made him think he was the King of Scotland?
He was a fucking madman. Like he was just fucking insane.
He had lived in Scotland.
Why did he pick Scotland?
He had lived in Scotland for some amount of time, and he really became enamored with the culture. And I don't remember how he made that leap to like thinking that he had some claim over the Scottish crown, but it might have had something to do with him considering himself a king in general. And it's like, hey, I'm a king. You need one?
Well, there's no current King of Scotland, so
yeah. Those redcoats have been giving you a hard time.
I'm just saying, I love it when Americans talk about this because they've no idea how sensitive a fucking subject that is.
I do. I heard you talking about the black and tans earlier.
oh yeah. Basically, there's certain places in Scotland where if you sing that song, you will get stabbed.
We pretend that didn't happen here.
Is there a king in Scotland or not? How are there two sides?
Oh God, I need to go into history going back to like the 1700s. But basically, there was a thing called the Jacobite Rebellion. We had a king, but the king was Catholic. The English didn't like that because they were all Protestants. So they brought over William the Orange, which is why remember how I mentioned about the Orange Walk earlier. Okay. Like basically that was the Protestants doing their little march where they talk about how much they hate Catholics and, and stuff like that. So basically William of Orange came over, deposed the king, he fled up north, there was a little bit of a war, he then ended up fleeing to France, blah blah blah. So basically the lineage of kings like completely changed, right? And then King James had to flee over to France where he did marry into nobility, blah blah blah. So basically going down his family tree, the current true heir of the Scottish throne, the true actual lineage, what's that little tiny country, Liechtenstein? It's like a prince of Liechtenstein. No. And the problem is everyone in Scotland like sees his picture and goes, he looks weak, he looks like a little silly boy. Like, I would never follow him. So we're going to shove the king into a fucking locker.
What's that thing where you guys have that feat where you pick up those stones? You know what I'm talking about? The heavy stones.
Yes, the stone lift.
It was the one the mountain did, the Husabel stones, but I think that's Iceland.
I thought there was a Scottish one.
It's caber tossing. We do the caber tossing.
Yeah,
that's the big hole where we basically throw a whole fucking tree, and it's really fucking hard. It's really hard because the point is to get it to fucking flip over.
And have you done it before?
I did it once. Anger did it about like 3 times. I managed to get like 2 out of the 3 throws and get it to go over. But fucking hell, you're lifting up a whole tree, like essentially, like, and then you need to fucking use physics to fucking flip it over. It's really hard, but it's fun. It's good. Like we still.
They're called the Denny Stones. The Denny Stones.
The Denny Stones. The Denny means do not.
It must mean don't try to lift this.
Don't try, Denny pal. Denny try and lift these.
Denny try and lift these. Probably started as a joke. Scottish people are pretty funny.
Oh, the Denny Steens, 2 giant granite boulders located outside the old Potash Hotel. Is this some like old challenge or something I've not actually heard?
I think it might be like a Paul Bunyan type thing. Now, after I read it a little bit more, like I think that someone supposedly carried those stones. It sounds like one of those.
Donald's father, Robert Denny, according to Donald's own account, back from like 1860. That was when apparently the stones have only ever been carried by 7 men.
Oh,
yeah. And
you need one of those
Denny
men.
Was the first. Yeah.
What I was getting at is if like a man like that was over in Liechtenstein, I think there'd be a bigger call to like get him back home. Put him.
There definitely would. But it's just like
if you saw him like. You saw him like lifting those stones like easily and then tearing into some haggis drunkenly.
Well, now he's in. He's in.
Like there's a list to his like walk the whole way to the stones, and then he does it, and they're just like, and he asks to come back. Like I feel like you guys can make that happen. Have like a populist movement.
Is the Liechtenstein guy is he an only child? Doesn't have like a brother, you could like a younger brother, bit of a beefcake, nothing like that.
No idea. It's just I know that he's like the lineage, but I looked at him. He looks like a fucking accountant.
Well, like, you got to skip that guy. But I do like that the Scottish people are like, we'll try again in a few years, in a few generations. Maybe he'll marry a big Icelandic broad.